Well, good evening to you guys from Stockholm Central Station here in Stockholm, Sweden. Trevortheaviator here. And tonight I actually have a very special video for you guys. So, with it being an aviation channel, there is something that is unique about what is here in Stockholm. And that is a hostel that I am going to be staying at. So here in Stockholm at Arlanda Airport, there is a hostel called the Jumbostay Hostel, which is a hostel that is inside of a Boeing 747. And in this video, I am going to give you guys a tour of what the place is like and what it is like to stay at this place. And also for me to say that I have been inside of a 747 for a stay. So in a few moments, I am going to head my way over to the Arlanda Express, and then we will get headed our way to Stockholm Arlanda International Airport. So with this earlier today, I literally just got back from Gothenburg after spending the day. And it is very late at night here in Stockholm. So it's going to be a late night that I am going to be dealing with arriving to the station. So let's get headed to the hostel. Well guys, so I have officially arrived here at the Jumbostay Hostel. So look at that airplane that you see right behind me. That is where we are going to be staying in for tonight. So let's go ahead and get ourselves checked in, and then let's head to our room with that happening. Once I entered in the hostel, there was some aviation memorabilia themed to the hostel, and also a couple other miscellaneous stuff here and there too, with some of the other historic airlines such as like Pan Am. But once I checked in, so in this hostel it was a self check-in, so there was no one inside, but it was pretty easy reading the instructions. And after I got myself checked in, I walked down the hallway to see all of the pictures and that were on the sides of the walls and all the doors of the rooms. And where I will be staying in is room 741 for tonight in this hostel. So with that happening, let's go in and see what this room is like. Alrighty, so now I am here in my room here at the Jumbostay, and to give you guys an idea, so up here you got bunk bed style, so the bottom one will be the one I'll be sleeping on, and then there's also another one that can super another person, and then also as well you got a storage compartment up there, and then you got the ladder here that would lead up to the bunk bed. And then also as well, we got ourselves a TV in here. And then with that, have the place where I am in the process of doing a little bit of unpacking and repacking at the moment. So with that, I know this room may seem a little bit small, but with that though, we are inside of a former plane that ended up flying. So of course, with how many people that this hostel can be able to accommodate and with how many rooms there are, it definitely is limited in terms of space, but it is still quite the experience though of being able to stay inside of a 747, however. The next place that I saw was the common area. So this is where you happen to have breakfast, and I was very impressed of this area as it gave me a bit of a retro vibe and felt like that I stepped back in time, which I love this feel whenever I travel to other places. But in this area, there is also quite a number of pictures and frames that are up on the walls, and it features some history when it comes to some of the other airlines that operated the Boeing 747. Some of them include the Singapore Airlines and also other various airlines on the wall, which I was very impressed by. And for any of you aviation geeks too, they also have a couple of models that are scattered around inside this area because an aviation hostel needs to have some of these models and that around, don't they? But it was pretty cool seeing this area as a whole when I was here. So with all that you guys just saw, this is a little bit of what the hostel has to offer. There's still some more that there is as we're showing, but however though it is getting late here. So with that, in the early morning, I will actually show you guys what the rest of the hostel looks like. So until then, I will see you guys in the morning after I get some shut-eye and see what the experience is actually like officially sleeping here inside of a 747. So I'll see you guys in the morning. Well, good morning to you guys. So it is currently in the morning right now here at the Jumbostay, and I had a very good night's rest here in this hostel. It was probably one of the best nights I've had while being here in terms of sleeping. I wish I was here a little bit longer, but with that, it is now light outside, so with that happening, I am going to go ahead and tour you guys the rest of what this place has to offer, as with it being light outside, it can be easier to see everything and see just how big this place actually is. So let's go get headed our way to the rest of the hostel and I'll show you guys what this place is like. After I got up and got my things packed, I started to head my way towards the back of the airplane where I would be able to get a couple of window views based from being on this aircraft. And this first one here was actually from my room, so of course the typical view of like an economy seat on the aircraft, but also here featured an area where you could go outside on a deck and you are above the wing, which I found was really cool to see. And it was nice to be able to get outside. And then out at the front of the hostel, there was a giant staircase, and that is how you get into the hostel for when you enter and exit and check in and check out. But also from outside, it does provide a view of Stockholm Arlanda International Airport. And after seeing some of the views from there, I went to check out the underneath the area because I don't get to see the 747 from the ground like this too often, so why not? And it featured some picnic tables and a couple other things that were scattered around. And then the last thing I saw was the engines, and these engines, fun fact, are also rooms for the Jumbostay. So there are rooms inside the engine, rooms inside of the actual aircraft, and then if I would have had a lot more money to spend, I would have looked at getting it up on the flight deck, but I chose not to, unfortunately, this time around. Alrighty, so overall with everything happening, that was what the Jumbostay Hostel was like here in Stockholm. And I will say it was quite an experience to be at. And if you guys are aviation geeks, then I would highly encourage you guys to stay at this hostel. And I will say it is very unique to be inside of a Boeing 747. But with that, now I gotta go ahead and get checked out of here because I actually have to catch a train to head back to Copenhagen later today in order for me to catch my flight on Scandinavian Airlines tomorrow afternoon back to Chicago. But with that though, it was a pleasant time with my stay here, and again would highly recommend, and I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. And if you guys stick around to this long, thank you very much for watching. And please consider liking, commenting, and subscribing if you guys are interested in watching some more content. Until then, this is Trevor the Aviator from here at the Jumbostay at Stockholm Arlanda International Airport, where I will see you guys again at the airport very shortly. Until then, bye for now everybody, and I will see you guys again very soon.